when you're watching a video and you see something that somebody has made and you just can't quit thinking about it until you do it yourself. That is what happened to me. So I went down the rabbit hole and I stopped everything that I was doing and had to just get this out of my system before I moved on. And I'm so happy with the results. And so I'm going to show you how I made mine. And then I'm also going to link the video that I watched by Angie Garcia at Angie Garcia Art. She is a wonderful mixed media artist, and I have been kind of binge watching her videos because she just came up as a suggested, and I had not subscribed to her channel before. I have subscribed now, and she made these fantastic little mini clipboards that are paper clips that you can use in your journals. And so I wanted to right away stop everything I was doing and make some of these. And so I'm going to show you my process, and then, like I said, I will link her video so you can go watch her video as well. This is a fantastic idea. I absolutely love it. I would not say that it is a beginner item to make, and it is very labor intensive, but it is so worth it. So let's get started. And I am going to make a Christmas themed one because I thought after I made these, I thought, oh, these would be so cute in a Christmas journal. So I'm going to make a Christmas one, and I know it's early, but I wanted to make something that I could use in the very near future. And these are all made for journals that I'm working on, and so progressively the next thing would be Christmas, and so I'm going to do a Christmas one just so I can show you guys how I made what she made using the supplies I have. So in her video, she made two different things. She made these little mini paper clipboards, which as I said, are just adorable. And then she made some dangles with some book plates and a key. And so this is my version of that. These are the book plates that I had, and some key charms that I had. And so you can see these. Now, these are pretty simple. You know, you just use a bulb pen and a book plate, and you can put whatever you want in here, and then put a key, you know, whatever kind of key or any other kind of charm that you have. But I used number stamps because they reminded me of old hotel keys with tags, and I embossed mine with clear embossing powder so they would kind of look like enamel plates in there. So I made 4 of those, and I love them. 4 different kinds. So those can hang on a dangle on the outside of your journal if you wanted them to, or you could put them inside. I just think they're really cool. So I made 4 of those, and then I made 4 of the little clipboards that have the paper clip on them. And you can see they're very grungy, which is just my style. She's a very grungy artist, which, you know, that wins my heart. So, hers are even more grungy than mine. But like I said, I made them so that I could use them in my journals. So let's get started because it is going to take a while. I did do a little bit of prep so it'd go a little bit quicker. The first thing you're going to need is you're going to need some pretty thick cardboard or bookboard or, you know, something like that. This is actually off the back of a paper pad, so it's pretty thick. And you can see I just cut it, and I cut mine 1.5 inches by 2.5 because I thought that was a good size in proportion to the clip. Okay, these are Tim Holtz clips, and they've been rusted. And I have some that have been rusted in rusting solution. And that's what this one is. And if you don't know that, it's Epsom salts or kosher salt, either one, peroxide and vinegar. And you just put them in a glass container and leave them, and they will rust. Or you can use something like this, which is kind of like a paste or a paint, and you rub them on, and this one is done with that because I couldn't wait for mine to rust in the solution, and so with this one I use that. And I also used, which I did not bring over here because I already had one rusted, Tim Holtz crayons and broken glass and crackling campfire, and I just rubbed it on there to kind of give it a tarnished look, and that's what's on the frame as well, which reminds me I will need to get that because I want to do this to the frames. I think it looks awesome. Alright, so like I said, the first thing you need is a piece of this. The second thing you're going to need is a piece of plexiglass. And I think her plexiglass is thicker than mine. This is plexiglass like out of a picture frame. I ordered some picture frames that they came with two different things. You could either put in the plexiglass as the glass, or it also came with real glass, and I used the real glass, of course. And so I had these pieces of plexiglass that I saved, and I'm glad I did because they're perfect for this. Now I cut mine on the Tim Holtz guillotine, and you can see that it made these awesome cracks on the side. Now, if you don't want that, you're probably going to have to cut them with like a box cutter or something like that, so you don't get these cuts or little crack looking things. Now, you could also probably, before you cut it, put tape on it and then cut it with a box cutter, and you wouldn't get these. But like I said, I like it. And this plexiglass is thin enough that I think you probably even could cut it with scissors. But I know if you cut it with scissors, you're going to get these little things. So it just depends on what kind of look you're going for. If you want something cleaner, then, you know, you're going to not want to use your scissors for sure. And then I have this piece of just leftover Christmas paper that I'm going to put on the back. And she did hers as a Tracy Fox design team project, and so she actually used some of Tracy's labels that had the little rounded part at the top, tags, I guess you could say. And I think that's what inspired her, is she thought those little tags looked like little clipboards. But, you know, you could do that, or, you know, just cut it out yourself. Either way. And then this little Santa print is by Louisa Heinzel. She came out with these last year. And so I thought it would be perfect to go in here. So that's what I'm going to use as my picture. So I'm going to do this first because I'm going to use some alcohol ink, and it's also probably the most labor intensive thing. Now, she used metal tape to go around the outside of hers to make these little frames, and I don't have any metal tape. I keep wanting to go to Lowe's and get some, but I don't have any. But I did have this silver washi tape, and so this is what I'm going to use to make my little frame around my picture. So I'm going to do that first so that I can do all the processes needed and get this started drying. So I'm just going to run this along the edge of my plexiglass. And try to get it so that it's even all the way around. And like I said, this is probably the part that takes longer than anything, is making these little frames. I didn't even say good morning or anything. Good morning. Hope you are having a wonderful Saturday. It's kind of chilly here this morning, so I have my sweatshirt on, but I'm sure I'll be shedding it here in a little bit. I think we're supposed to be about 80. I'll tear that off because, like I said, this is really fiddly to me. You may do better with it. But like I said, you want to try to get, you know, your frame pretty even thing all the way around. If you can. Last piece. Okay, now I'm going to place my picture on here. Just like that. And I'm going to use my art glitter glue because this washi tape is not real sticky. And I'm going to go around the edges here. And then I'm going to just fold all the edges over. And that's going to hold my picture in. Because we're going to end up mounting it to the clipboard anyway. So we just want something to kind of hold it in place. And I started out with the first couple, I was mitering these corners of the washi tape, you know, here. And then that was really labor intensive. And so the last couple I did, I just folded over because I figured out that in reality, it didn't really look any different because I was using the washi tape. Alright, and just kind of burnish that down really well with my fingernail. Alright, so now we have our little picture. I'm just going to trim that up. Okay, so there we go. There's our little picture. Now we need to grunge it up. So, the first thing that I'm going to do is put my pen in my glue. Alright, so now I'm going to take some butterscotch alcohol ink and just very lightly and gently, is that a word? I'm going to hit some of these corners gently, I guess is what I'm trying to say, with some alcohol ink. Get it off my frame here. And that's just gonna do a couple of things, and then I just kind of dab it. That's gonna make our glass look a little older. And because this is just sealed with washi tape, it also sinks in and it stains the paper. So be really, really gentle and don't overuse that. Otherwise, you're going to lose your image more than you want to. And of course, alcohol ink just takes a second to dry. I need to trim. I got a little hanging there. I can't get it. I may have to get my little bitty scissors to get it. There we go. That's better. All right. So there's that process. So now let me grab my two crayons that I forgot. And I'm wrong, I used fired brick and peacock feathers, so I was wrong on both of them. Luckily, they were both sitting there. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this rust gloopiness, and I'm going to take my little palette knife and get just a tad, because it doesn't take much. And this is kind of like a gritty paint kind of feel to it. And I'm just gonna kind of rust up my little frame. And you don't have to do this part. If you want it to be, you know, less grungy, you could just leave it silver. You could do gold if you wanted to. I think gold would look good as well. Okay. So you could use just brown paint to do that if you wanted to. You could use your grit paste and tint it. You know, whatever you have. That's the thing is, you know, I didn't go get anything to make these, and I think I came up with a pretty good solution for me. So I'm sure that you too have stuff in your craft supplies that you can use to create these. Now I'm gonna hit these with my heat tool. I'm not gonna do it too much. I don't want to melt the glass, but I want to get that rust paint dry, which it dries pretty quickly. Just so we can move on to the next part. Alright, so now I want to add some kind of tarnish, and that's where these crayons come in. And so what I did for that is I just took, and wherever I put the rust, I just kind of hit it with the crayons. So there's the peacock feathers, and then this is the brick. And if you feel like you get too much or overdid it, then you can just take your finger and kind of smooth it out. All right, so there's our little frame. Pretty happy with that. So now let's work on the clipboard. I wipe my fingers off here. That's why my hands look so grabby, because I've been making these clipboards with all the mixed media stuff, and I can't make anything without getting stuff all over me. So, all right. So the first thing I'm going to do is glue on my scrapbook paper, or my digital. This is actually a digital, to the base of my clipboard. And you could leave this just the color of the bookboard if you wanted to. I mean, clipboards are, you know, kind of that color anyway. she made one that was really cute. She made it like a little notebook, had little pieces of paper on it that you could write on and tear off. That's also a great idea. Especially since it's a hidden paper clip and you can move it different places in your journal. That way, if you wanted to make yourself a little note as you were reading, or, you know, something you wanted to remind yourself of, you'd have that little note pad. Now, I'm just sanding around the edges just to grind it up. And we're going to ink it, of course. Okay, so now let's ink it, and I'm going to use scorched timber because I want it to be really dark. All right, now let's get our clip on. Now, what you want to do for that is you want to place your clip up here with both sides on the front. Don't put half of it on the back. And, you know, put it in a location to where you think it should go to make the clipboard, you know, look correct. And then you want to take a pencil and you want to mark on both sides of this. And then you want to take a pokey tool or your awl or whatever you use to poke holes. And you want to poke a hole. Where you made your marks. Be careful not to poke it too close to the top, because then you're going to rip it, you know, through the thing, and you don't want to do that. All right. Then you're going to take your clip and you're going to put some glue, whatever you want. I think she uses one of the E-glues for hers. E7000, I think, maybe. I'm using 3-in-1. It's in a Fabri-Tac bottle, but it is 3-in-1. They're both about the same thing. You could use a hot glue gun if you wanted. But you're going to want something that's going to bind the metal. And I found this works really well. Even though you're going to secure it with a piece of wire, you kind of want to make sure that it's going to stay. And then you're going to place it in between the two holes that you made. And then you're going to take a piece of wire, and my wire is copper because that's what I had. She used rusty wire on hers, just some kind of wire. You could probably also do it with a heavier thread, and I think it would be just fine. You just want to make sure that you're using something that is going to be pretty sturdy. And you're going to go through the clip. Oops. Probably should let that dry a little bit, but I'm trying to move the video along. don't get caught on there. Okay. And then down through the other hole. And this isn't very heavy gauged wire, and so it's pretty flexible. This would be a lot harder if you did not have a flexible wire, I think. And then we're going to do it again. She did hers 3 times. I think I did mine twice because I felt like that was secure enough. Especially since I was using the glue as well. And she did too, for that matter. And you can see this is pretty fiddly too. Catch it on that little thing that sticks up every single time. And if you have problems pulling it through there and getting it snug, she suggests that you use a pair of needle nose and grab the end of it, and that gives you a little bit more gripping power to pull it through. But my wire is really thin and flexible, so I didn't have to do that part. Okay, and after you get it around there a couple of times, you want to make sure you pull it snug. And again, this is where needle nose pliers might come in handy. And then you're just going to twist it to secure it on the back. Make sure you're all nice and straight before the glue dries. If you use a glue gun, it will be dry, you know, as soon as you do it almost, so you wouldn't have the wiggling around like I'm having right now before my glue dries. Alright, and then you're just going to kind of snip it off on the back. And my scissors. Because you're going to cover this up. Again, I'm going to check, make sure I'm straight before we go any further. I think I'm going to have to put some more glue under there because I feel like I've moved it around so much. So let's put another little layer of glue under there. I get it on there? Ah, this glue drives me crazy. There we go. That's too much. Now we'll have to clean that off. Okay. So there's that part. And this should be completely dry. So what you're going to want to do for this is, because you are going to put this under this clip, if you put it under the clip just like it is, this part is going to be setting higher than this part because of the clip. So I'm going to take another couple of pieces of bookboard and I'm going to glue them to the back of this so that we have an even surface. I did 2. I think she did 1 at the bottom. But I'm going to do 1 in the middle and 1 at the bottom. Just like that. Okay. And then I'm going to put glue on at the top here. And then on my 2 little pieces that I just glued on. And then I'm going to place my picture under the clip and centered. Double checking to make sure everything is kind of straight. Just like that. So now we have a nice even reveal there. Okay. Now let's focus on the back. So we want to take some kind of piece of at least cardstock weight, and we're going to want to put our paper clip on here. Like this. And then we're going to want to cut this off. And again, these are paper clips that I rusted in my rusting solution. And then this is going to go on the back like this. And actually, I'm going to stick this clip up just a little bit. Sorry. But first, I'm going to take this digital and I'm going to cover the back. Excuse me. I got a tickle. Okay. So, all right, so I'm going to glue this. Onto here. And you can cut this piece before, when you're cutting your front piece if you want, if you don't want to cut around it. I just didn't think far enough ahead to do that. And that's going to give you a nice finish on the back, even though you won't really see the back that much, but it just gives a nice finish. Okay, we'll trim around that. If you've seen my makes before, I'm a believer in finishing all sides of stuff, so that to me is just more my preference as anything, is to just make sure it looks good from all sides. Again, I'm going to sand around it, and that'll give me any hangover pieces and also kind of rough my edges up a little bit. And again, I'm going to ink around the edges. All right, now we're going to install our paper clip. I'm going to ink that up a little bit, so it's kind of grungy. When I put these on, I put the big part of the paper clip toward the back. So the exposed side is the small. Of course, I guess that it's going to work the same either way, so that's just a matter of preference. Alright, and I do use the 3-in-1 to glue this on because I feel like it holds metal better, like I said. But you can use whatever glue you prefer that you think works well with metal. Oops, right on my glass mat. And then you want to glue it to the top, even with the top. And just glue it down. And you can clamp this till it dries. But we're going to move ahead so that I can get this video done in a reasonable amount of time. Okay. Now we get to decorate our little card. I mean, you could be finished just like that. It's cute. But I want to put some little embellishment on it. And the first thing I'm going to do is wrap some of this twine around the bottom. If I can get my pin back in my glue. Kind of how I did this one with the wire. I'm going to use this twine and I'm just going to wrap it around. I think 3 times. I'm going to put it over here because I want a knot there. I'm going to tie a knot. I hope. Come on. You could tie a bow. You could use a ribbon for this. You could use whatever. You could use hands that work. Hopefully yours work better than mine. Okay, Get that pretty tight on there. You could put a little dab of glue if you wanted to make sure that it wasn't going anywhere. And then I have this little Noel that I'm going to stick down in there to kind of look like it's a gift tag. So again, I'm going to use the 3-in-1 because we're gluing on that plexiglass. And then I have a mini safety pin with some little rusted bells on it that I put on a jump ring. And I'm going to put those right through my knot here. And close it up. Maybe. There we go. So we have kind of a little dangly down there. And the last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take some grit paste and I'm going to take a putty knife or this thing, spatula, little spatula, and I'm going to take some of this grit paste and put on here because I want it to look like snow. And you don't have to do this part, obviously. Kind of focusing on the corners and things like that. Let's put some like it's settled right down in there. And maybe just a little bit on the bells. Okay. Love it. Now we can't have that pristine white snow like that. And so when that dries, I'll probably go in and ink around these edges again. So that it has, you know, kind of a grungy, more grungy look to it. Another thing that would be really cute would be to take some glitter and sprinkle on there. Do I have? I think I have some. Let's see. You could also use like a embossing powder that has glitter in it. I have some of that too, but I don't really care for it too much, but it's a possibility. Do I have that. That might work. I got mica flakes too, which would be kind of cute. These are my mica flakes that I dyed with alcohol inks, and so I have a whole container of different colors. And also I dyed the glitter different colors. And this is kind of a silvery clear. I may not have any just regular. I don't really want to put a color, you know what I'm saying? So I may not do that. All mine are colored. I think I'm out of the regular. It might be in this one. Nope, these are all embossing powders. Oops, top's coming off that one. Alright, let me check the last one, but I don't think. Nope, those are all embossing too. Yeah, I don't have any of the clear, but it all comes clear. It's Tim Holtz, and it all comes clear. And then, like I said, you can tint it with your alcohol inks to be different colors. So that's it, guys. Like I said, it's Angie Garcia Art, and I will link to her video below, and I do encourage you to go watch some of her videos. Like I said, she's an excellent mixed media artist, and she has made some really cool things on her channel, and I think she's on Instagram as well, but she says that in the video. So if you have any questions, let me know. And if you try this, let me know. I'll be curious to see what products you use to get this look. And thanks for joining me today. And I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. And I will see you back on Tuesday for Nothing But Neutrals. Until then, everybody have a great weekend. Bye.